Hey, Les, I'm so excited to be together again.
I know. It's just like old times, brand new. Good to see you.
You too. Can you believe our last episode, episode 80, was 5 years ago this month of Frontline Records Rewind?
Oh my gosh. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
I know. And in fact, this show has quite the history. 11 years ago was the first episode with Brian Healy as the host and myself, Adel Meisenheimer, as executive producer, as Healy would say. And then in episode 32, when Healy's health was not so good, you were so gracious to host an episode. And Les Carlsen then became the host of our show. And you finished out almost 50 episodes. Can you believe it?
You know what? It went by so fast, but I'll tell you, it was a lot of fun. And I don't even believe it was 50. I'm going to look at the whole thing to prove it to myself because, wow, what an experience it was. And we're doing it again.
Yeah. So what brings us together today after this gap in time and doing this very special episode is that now all 80 of our Frontline Records Rewind episodes are available on Spotify Podcast and Apple Podcast. They've always been available on YouTube, Frontline Records YouTube channel, as well as frontlinerecords.us. But now it's so easy to access every single one of the episodes with description and everything on Spotify Podcast and Apple Podcast. I'm excited.
Me too. Wow. You can go to one place, listen to the whole thing.
That's right. Yeah.
Awesome.
Now, the second purpose for bringing up Rewind is that we have some of our iconic Frontline Records artists that played recently the second annual Immortal Christian Music Festival in Versailles, Ohio, right?
Yes.
Our iconic artists of Deliverance and Sacred Warrior and our own Les Carlsen are featured at this festival. And so since the guys got it together, we figured we should get it together and interview them and talk about their experience, the preparation it's taken you guys to do this, and then just the experience of the whole thing being out there with those diehard fans.
You know, and we really appreciate that too, because Frontline Records has been faithful ever since you took that over, and you have just brought it to life and kept it living and breathing, and it's awesome. So to have you step on board again and help promote the Immortal Fest 1 and 2, it's just amazing. We thank you so much, Adele.
Thanks. Well, I got to tell you, Les, like one of the most fun things I've really done in the industry is this podcast series. And it started when like I say, 11 years ago, August 2012, when Brian Healy, our company had just bought the Frontline Records label. I was reaching out, getting to know the artists. And Brian Healy contacted me and he said, "Hey, have you thought about doing a podcast?" I was like, "What's a podcast?" But I'm open. And he was this award-winning DJ from LA, and he said he could host it and I could be executive producer. And we got together at a barn at a dairy because that's where Scotty, our engineer, was. And he stuck a microphone in my face and it didn't stop. I just pretended only 5 people could hear it. And I got through that. And it's been quite the wild ride for me.
And you're still here. You're still the executive producer and you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you very much. And I love your hosting. And I love that you relate so beautifully with these artists. You make them comfortable. All the episodes that we did, you're just the perfect one. And today we're going to talk to Jimmy P. Brown of Deliverance. And we're going to call him up right now on this Zoom call. And here we go. Let's talk to Jimmy about how he and Deliverance got ready for this festival.
Yeah, let's zoom in on Jimmy.
All right.
There you go.
Okay.
Jimmy!
Hey, how's it going? All right.
Wow, man.
How are you, Les? Nice to see you. Adele, always good to see you.
You too, Jimmy.
Great to see you, man.
Yeah, very cool.
I mean, I just saw you on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. I try to avoid those. I haven't watched any of the videos or anything from the show. I never review anything afterward.
Yeah, I'm like you as well. I really don't. I see myself like, oh, no. But I watched some of the songs, and it was like, wow, the energy was cool. And
yeah.
So anyway, you're here.
Yeah,
Frontline Records Rewind. Special.
I know. After all these years, back again.
So did you love it, man? Did you love playing?
Oh yeah. I mean, it'd been a while before the C Krapoffel or whatever, however you pronounce that word. We hadn't played since 2019, so it felt really great and it felt really good to perform.
Yes, I know, and people say, well, you got to get the rust off or whatever, but I didn't see any rust. I mean, you were shy.
Thank you. Everybody says that. And to me, number one, the worst part for me is everything at Soundcheck was great. We got everything dialed in, all the monitors, everything was great. And when we hit the stage and right when it all started, I was kind of just looking around going, boy, I'm hoping I'm playing with everybody because I can't hear a thing. Ooh. And my monitors weren't on. And it didn't matter how much I was pointing and going up. They were just like nothing. And it's weird because the volume on stage wasn't really happening either. But I would turn around and look at Jim and he's playing and I'm not even hearing his hi-hat. So I'm like, okay, either I'm going deaf or something's wrong. But Manny, after the show, Manny said the same exact thing. So, and Jim said the same thing, that the monitor mix that we had during soundcheck, that was all gone. None of us had it.
Yeah. So. Well, it is great that you came off as good as you did. And I can relate totally to what you just said.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure you've had a lot of incidents like that over your career as well.
It's like flying without radar, right? You're just going, hey.
Oh, yeah.
But
that's awful. It's an awful feeling.
I know. It's the stuff you have nightmares about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You were received well, right? The folks loved you.
Oh, that's the thing. Yeah, the people loved us, and promoter seemed to be happy, which I didn't even know. They had apprehensions about us, and obviously because of my outspokenness about promoters and everything over the years, but the one of the most pleasing parts is Disciple. I'd never gotten to see them live, and they called us out from the stage not once but twice, and just said such kind words about me personally and about Deliverance, and I thought that was really, really nice for a band that sells 500,000 records to be up there saying about us, and that we were such a big influence and a big impact on them. So.
Well, Kevin Young is, he's the guy that probably listened to you guys a lot. I know he listened to
that's the lead singer, correct?
Kevin Young, and he's just such a great man of God, and he's an amazing talent, and just he preaches from his heart. So we love you, Disciple, and I can see why he was moved by Deliverance, and it's great he called you out and said great things.
Yeah, that was really, really nice. It was really unexpected. I was excited about seeing them. I'd heard their music over the years. So I actually was in the audience watching them. So it was kind of strange that happened. And it turned the cheeks rosy red, it was very, very, very embarrassed, but it was cool. It was nice. It was really cool.
Well, what was it like getting back with the guys in the band?
It was nice. It was nice. We'd actually, got together about a month before here in Vegas. We got together and rehearsed and tried to, like, as you say, scrape the rust off, and got the SOS pads and really, really tried, so it felt good. Jim and I and Manny, we record with each other all the time. So I'll fly to Fresno, and then Manny flies here into Vegas, and so we record all the time. We're always working on music, but we hadn't played live in so long. Manny, this was his first time playing with Deliverance, and dear God, 22 years. Yeah. So, and Glenn, like I said, he and I do some recording here and there, but he's got his project that he does, Primal. And then I'm working on my solo stuff with Jim and Manny. They're my they're my forever faithful band, you know?
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So who put the set list together?
That was Manny and Jim. Yeah. For me, it was difficult, Les. I was like, okay, they gave us an hour set, and I'm like, this is a band with 11 studio albums. How do you compact all of that and try to represent every era of the band inside of 60 minutes? And then they all know I talk a lot. I love to banter and interact with the audience. And we didn't know how to do it. So I just told them, just make it all about the music and cause that's what they're there to hear and see. And so let's just do that, you know, and it worked, you know, but, yeah, they put together the set and it seemed like it went over pretty well.
Yeah, I would say so. We're still talking about it.
Yeah. I mean, I see so much, online, and people really loving it, and we're hoping for a DVD.
I'm sure that they probably do have that, knowing the people at BMI Event Center.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're great. I'll tell you what, they are pretty pro there. Everything there is super pro, man. I mean, and the staff is just fantastic. I loved every one of them. They were just very, like I said, we were well received, well treated very well there.
Yeah, it's kind of like Field of Dreams. You know, you build it and they will come. And
yeah.
You go into this place and you go, oh, is this it? You know, and you walk in.
I know.
Boom, it opens up into this big, beautiful venue that's just amazing with everything, bells and whistles.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, man. It's so strange, but then you walk outside and you're in the middle of nowhere. Like you said, Field of Dreams, you know?
Yeah, everybody should.
It was cool, though.
Yeah.
I agree. I've been promoting that for everybody to go see you and Sacred Warrior in September. So we're going to try to make it out. So that's for sure. Because I want to. Because I've been wanting to see you. I want to see your solo band, man.
Oh, man, that'd be so awesome. I'd love that.
Yeah, I thought you guys were going to play this one. So when I heard, oh no, there's going to be two and Les is playing September, I asked Adele. I was upset. I was like sincerely upset and wanted us to be moved to the September show. So, I think we're going to try to make it out.
I think the last time I saw you was a Frontline podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. When me and George were with you. Yeah.
At my house.
And that was the last time.
You played my Gretsch, Orange Gretsch.
Yeah.
And you put some metal on that thing. You Christian.
That's funny.
I'm so honored. Well, I mean, Jimmy, Deliverance is, I don't know, that when people mention bands and, when the name Deliverance comes up, it's almost like people pause for a moment and go, yeah, that was that super heavy band on Frontline. It's true. It's true. You guys are, legends, and I know that we're not the big, it's not the biggest thing in the world to our genre and stuff, but in it, you are definitely an icon, man. You're definitely a legend, and
right back at you. Right back at you, brother, because you're definitely what. In fact, Larry, I don't know if you know, but Larry Farkas plays in my solo band, and he talks about a lot of times when he got to play with Bloodgood. It just warmed him to be able to do that. So
he was amazing too. I love that guy. He's such a great heart.
Good heart, and what an amazing talent, huh? The player that he is ridiculous.
Yes, he is. Actually, I'd like him to play on my next solo album.
Oh, that'd be great.
He lives on the podcast. How's he ever going to find out?
Oh, he actually just lives a few miles from me, and he's here every Thursday recording with me. So I'll let him know.
You know what? I tried to get a hold of him not too long ago, but just tell him I love him and I super respect him. He's fabulous. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that'd make him real happy to hear. So yeah, I would have been nice for Larry to have joined us on this one with Deliverance. It would have been cool because that was the first thing that went through my head. Is since we're all recording together, what a cool treat! Because Larry was our first guitar player for Deliverance back in '85, and
there you go.
And it would have been nice, but Larry's as you well know, he's a full-time caretaker of his brother, so his time is very limited.
Yes,
yeah.
That is he's a great example of a man of God in that regard. That's no doubt.
Oh gosh. Yeah, absolutely. Good man.
So what did you open with at the show?
The same song we've been opening up with since that album came out with Stay of Execution. And so it's been our opener since then and since 92. And it just seems like it's always a good, powerful, that one that just gets the audience start to rev up. It's not too fast, not too crazy. It's just right there in the pocket, gets everybody going. It's got a good groove to it. So that was our opener, and it came off pretty well from what I understand. So
a Stay of Execution. Wow.
Hello.
Yeah, I love that song. Love that album. It's one of my, having to rehearse with the guys. I had to kind of like go back and, because I forget my lyrics. I don't know if you deal with that, Les, but man, it's like, I don't know what happened. I just like forgot all my lyrics. They were on an iPad for me right there on my mic stand, just to scroll through, and I don't know if it's because there's just so much music and stuff going on in my head all these years, or if I'm just getting old, I have no idea.
Yeah, well, you're not as good as me. But when you do get old as me, yes, you'll experience that even more, I suppose. So let me see. What else? Did you guys, when you got together, did it seem rather easy? Did it just seem like, we know this stuff?
Oh yeah. That's the funny part about it. It just all kind of just happened. Probably the hardest part, it's funny. You hear Manny hadn't played with us, so, like I said, since Cornerstone of 2001. And he played flawlessly the entire rehearsal. Me, it's playing guitar and singing that, it's like, which do I concentrate on most? So, and I always tend to go for the vocal, and then I'll start feeling bad and I'll start concentrating on the guitar. And then that's where it starts turning into little things. And then Glenn will look at me and go, "Hey, you played something different there. Am I supposed to do that too?" And I'm like, I have no idea what I just did. I'm just playing. And it just happened. That's the kind of weird arguments we have during rehearsal, because I'm like, don't pay attention to me and what I'm doing. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain,
This is what I'm doing with, I'm going right back for this particular show. I'm going right back to the original Crucify arrangement, vocally and everything. Because I'm going,
sweet.
Things evolved, right? Things evolved with us when we were doing concerts. Same thing with you.
Right.
So what I told my band is, I just said, let's just go back to the originals for this concert and let's just learn everything. And that's probably what you did.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, exactly.
You were playing.
Well, I think I just like I said, memory kind of just starts going away, and I'm enjoying the energy of being with my mates,
Yeah.
And because I'm a bit of a homebody and stay away from everybody kind of person, so I'm enjoying that energy. But then I start kind of veering off, and they've got to reel me back in. Manny has always been good at reeling me in, because he's such a perfectionist. So it always helps when he's there.
The reality, Jimmy, is that you are the focal point. You're the vocalist and the guitar guy, and so you just.
I know it's terrible.
So you're so humble.
It's terrible.
You're so humble, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're counting on me. I got to do this.
Oh yeah, I know they depend on me, and it's like, really, me? Leave me alone, please.
Oh, you're too much, bud. Learn.
Oh yeah.
This is.
Oh gosh, yeah. I love that. I love the way the song. That's one of my favorite songs to play live. Because that was the thing about that Frontline part of us, for us, the catalog, is those 3 records, which was the Stay, Learn, and Camelot. They just marked a new transitional period for Deliverance. We went from this thrash heavy, thing, and then all of a sudden we just went more progressive. And Learn was the second part of that three way thing that I was working with Terry Taylor and Gene Eugene. So when I started down that path, Learn, I remember Terry telling me, let's get away from the huge, big, giant production that you did on the first with Stay of Execution. Let's get away with the, no big multi vocals. Let's strip it down and make it just 2 guitars, bass, drums, and 1 vocal. And we'll do some little bit of treatments with the vocals, but let's keep it very band-like. And I was very upset about that, actually, when we went to record it. And because we did a lot of pre-production with Terry, and but once it happened, it felt very natural. And Learn was probably the first song we tracked together because it just had such a groove. And then we had John Knox on drums and from Whiteheart. Wow. And it's like, wow, this guy's grooving. He's got this crazy thing going on. Man, he's playing. And then we've got those heavy crunch guitars, but now I'm singing differently. I'm approaching vocals from a different aspect. And it just felt right. So when we played Learn, whenever we play that song live, the chorus is a sing-along. So everybody at the end singing with you that just feels so good. And then, but more importantly, it's just a fun song. It was a really fun song to play live. So I was happy for us to jam it out, and people received it as well as they did back in the day.
To living, I saw that I heard him say, existence total, I am the man, drifting in a subdued ocean, vulnerability, accountability, humanness takes its toll on me, write your words on my psychic friends on TV, call inquire about your future, falsified guarantee. Man's deception seems to see to the world of what's done and emptiness in the mind of the viewer of the street to believe in such idiocy.
Well, we're back, and that was learned from Deliverance. I loved it. You know what? While you were telling the story, I was getting this big grin on my face because I know that relationship between producers and artists and what you've done and all that. And obviously, Terry Taylor is very talented.
Oh, yeah.
Insightful. And I mean, it's amazing what we do. And it's amazing that really what we're looking for is that piece of music or approach to music that actually does what we want it to do. And we know it. It happens.
Yeah.
And it sounds like this did it for you.
Oh, yeah.
Still doing it for everybody.
Oh, yeah, man.
And that's awesome, man. That's so cool to have that kind of a, and it's recorded on Frontline Records. I mean, it's there. For
yeah. Oh, yeah. This was a very, the thing I got to, as much as I love to razz the whole Frontline staff, especially in the past, the thing I love about like who my guys was Mike and Ed and Jimmy Kempner, of course. They let me do what I wanted to do. They didn't stand in my way. When I made those dangerous choices to take the band in a way different direction, they were just like very supportive of it. So I appreciate that. So I'm very proud to be a Frontline artist in that regard.
Me too. Yeah. They did that with us as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Especially going from Bloodgood, the first debut record, and then going into Detonation, I mean, it's like, well, I don't want to turn this into, okay, I'm going to interview Les, but dude, there was such a huge drastic difference in overall feel and vibe, and it just became, you saw this growth and it was just, wow, So I remember the first time I got to meet you, man, it was at Knott's Berry Farm at one of those Jubilee nights. And, I was all geeking out and, you poor thing, you were just like hot, sweaty. You just got off the stage. You weren't in the mood for anything. And I understood, you're always gracious and everything. And you were real gracious with me. And, but man, I could tell you wanted to go. And I'm like, if you want to go dry off, go relax, man. But I just had to hug you and tell you, I love your voice. And I love the stage theatrics. I'm like 15 years old, man. And then you go, cause this is 85, 86, I think.
Yeah.
So, you go, and then Michael is standing there. So me and my girlfriend go and talk to him, which was my wife now, Helen. We go talk to Michael for a little bit, and we just stayed in touch. After that, it was pretty awesome. That was my first encounter with you.
Wow. I was all sweaty.
Oh yeah. I just felt bad because I actually caught you when you were trying to go and dry off and relax, those shows were awesome. I missed those Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm Jubilee shows. Those were great. But that's where I first saw you. And the band that came on after you was the most surprising. It was another Frontline band called Common Bond.
Oh.
Do you remember them? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was awesome.
Wow. I mean, when I hear these sorts of things, I do have to, again, go back to Frontline and Jimmy Kempner. He had it going on. And all of us I know that there may have been some things that took place, but ultimately he started this. It's still going on. Adele has picked it up, and she's just been amazing with what she's done with the catalogs. And
100%.
Those experiences that we had that you're talking about were just over the top amazing. And the cool thing was, it was about Jesus.
Yeah, all of it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
I love the way you guys are relating those early festivals. And then we're here at this Immortal Festival. I mean,
I know, it's crazy.
Many in between, right?
Other than Cornerstone and maybe that's it. I don't really know of any other. I mean, this Immortal thing could turn into a Cornerstone, in my opinion.
Yes,
and
that's what we're praying for and hoping for. I mean, really, because we really. And we just really got to bring it together. It's not.
We need a community.
It is a community, and that's what's happening. It's almost more about the crowd that comes than it is the bands. It's you know what? Again, it honors the Lord, and that's the best part. And
because I think that's Steve's focus. Steve just wants to bring all these bands that touched him and ministered to him. And honor the Lord through bringing these bands that were doing His work. And I think that's what just makes it even better, And it's funny. It's like a big family reunion for the bands, at least all of us, that we see each other and hug each other. And I hadn't seen Ray Parra in a while from Sacred Warrior. He was there with his new band, of course. But just hugged his neck, gave him a big hug, and of course seeing George and everybody else. Now him I talk to all the time, so he's no big deal to see.
But George is rocking though. As a matter of fact, he got on stage with you.
Yeah, I invited him out to play two very, very big classic songs, "Weapons of Our Warfare" and "No Time" from the first album, which was a big surprise. We had a blast. It was a lot of fun, actually. In fact, you see those pictures. We're just both ear to ear the whole time. We hadn't been on stage with each other in a long time, so it felt good.
Well, the first time I met George, I believe, is when I met you. I might have met George before, but and it was just really cool to see the rapport that you guys had and have.
Oh yeah.
But it's good that that you don't feed him too many compliments because. Oh
no, not George. I just gotta I always make sure to throw enough insults in there to balance it out.
Yeah, that's good. You know how to work it.
Yeah.
George, we love you, man. There's nobody like you. You're awesome. So, okay, Sanctuary.
Oh man, that's the pinnacle closer since '92 or '93. Of course, I covered that from Daniel Amos's amazing Vox Humana album. And I remember when I approached Terry and said, "Hey, man, I want to cover this song, but I want to do it my way and without you touching it. So you produce the whole album, but you can't produce this song. It's mine." Mm-hmm. And he agreed reluctantly. But man, we were just so pleased with the end result. And he was so pleased with the end result that he surprised me, and all of DA, the whole band, came into the studio to listen to it when it was being mixed. And I was nervous. I'm this young kid. I'm working with my hero and mentor. And then they played it, and the first thing out of Ed McTaggart's mouth, the drums, "This is way too slow. This tempo is way too slow." And it's like, oh, here we go. I sink further into the corner, And, but man, once it was over, I look at all their eyes, Jerry Chamberlain, Ed McTaggart, Rob Watson, Tim Chandler, rest in peace, and dude, they've got tears in their eyes. Mm. And they just look at me and they're like, "Bravo, well done. We would have never imagined this song like this." Mm. And they're like, "Man," and there's something here. And one of them just flat out said, "There's an anointing on this recording." Mm. And Terry started to tell them, he did the vocal in one take. And he just, and it was just a brilliant time. And John Knox, we didn't even have a guitar track for him to follow. He just played to a click track, and I was telling him where to change. And it was all kind of last minute hodgepodge, but it turned into this thing that whenever we play it live and we get to the very end where it's doing the whole, the sing along, and we have to stay, the band quiets down and lets the audience sing it, because it just really feels like this angelic presence does drop. And it's been happening to us live every time we play this song, no matter where we are. When we were in Scotland, we were in Germany, we were in Mexico, we were in Brazil. Every time we play this song, that same effect happens over the audience. And, you know, whoever, one of the members of DA that said that there's an anointing on this recording, he wasn't lying, because I think it just touches everybody that hears it. And that right there always makes me super happy, you know, because, you know, I always say God can use a donkey. So, you know, if he wants to use me, that's cool. So, and I really think, you know, there was something there, because, you know, being able to tell people and make them aware of God being our sanctuary, I think that was so important. And I think that's why it touches so many people.
Yeah, I believe that's true. And I know that when he does anoint something, it's still anointed when it's in Europe. It's still anointed years later.
Yeah.
It's still anointed when we're in the kingdom with him. It's anointed. And
what is it? It says that the gifts and the callings of God are without repentance. So he never takes it away. Never takes it away. Yeah.
He knew what he was doing, and that's it. It's done. And wow. And isn't it, you got to experience that every time he played it live.
Oh, it's such a blessing. I get mad that I didn't write the song. Frontline Rewind. This is Sanctuary from Deliverance.
But the anointing was at the BMI Center this last time, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. It was great. The audience sang along. It just was this quiet, beautiful moment. Like I said, it just happens every time we play it. And it was just really, really nice. It was nice to re-experience that. That's what, like I said, that's the way we close every Deliverance show. And so it was nice to close it like that. So we're excited to do more, though. I want to go back next year, but I heard that they're thinking about doing a tour, like a Lollapalooza type thing, where Immortal Tour goes on a big tour, which I told them, please sign us up. I'd love to do it.
You know what? I heard the same thing. So maybe it is a possibility. And if we just get the Lord's anointing on it, then it'll continue a long time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's brilliant. Hey, we should all feel excited about what God's doing. The way things are in this world right now, I really do hope that that's the case, because then maybe you and I would be able to hang out a little bit.
Oh yeah, man, and share the stage. I'd love to share the stage with you, brother.
Well, we're West Coast guys, so we could be on the West Coast leg,
Right. Yeah, it'll be awesome. It'll be a good thing. So I'm looking forward to any possibilities.
Yeah, and I really do think that God is doing something. I mean, he always has. He's always done. But whenever we're looking at this like, oh my gosh, is this the end? Well, you know what? There's a lot of things going on right now where right is right, or right is wrong, and wrong is right, and all this stuff. We're all aware of that. But it tells us, like Jesus said, we'd be able to tell the seasons. We can tell seasons.
Yeah.
Kind of sense that. I think that we all kind of sense that. And wow, to see us all go back out across America now with this message of the gospel of Jesus Christ in this genre of metal in your face. Here we are, unashamed, and more powerful than ever, because we are seasoned now. We're not young. We're older men.
Right.
And we are doing what we're called to do even now. And I think that's a big, big statement.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct, Les. Absolutely. I think it'd be amazing.
I'm excited for you. We're shaking the dust off, the rust off.
SOS pad, the rust.
And we're praying that we remember lyrics, and we're praying that we can sing and play guitar at the same time. And we're praying that God will bring in people that are non-believers that will see and meet who we believe in.
Yeah.
They got no hope in their guy. It's just
have no idea what they have. I think they've lost hope in anything. Yeah. And so to offer hope, to be that beacon of light, true light, not this false light, you're absolutely correct. If any time it's needed more, it's in these times. That's for sure. It's a very strange period.
And this is what we're here for. I really think it's amazing that I'm going to give this away. I was born in 1948. Okay. God knew, and he designed me specifically for this time. I mean, I wasn't born during the Civil War, and I wasn't born during the times of the Romans, and neither were you. We were born for a time. This. And when we say that our we're worried about our grandchildren and the world that they're going to inherit, I say, no, don't worry. Jesus has designed my grandchildren to be born in such a time as this, and be mentored by us at such a time as this to win in the end. There's no defeat.
That's good.
There's no defeat when it comes to God. None whatsoever.
Good word, Pastor Les. Good word.
Podcast. So I love you, man. Is it okay to say that on a podcast? I love you. I love the in you. And
of course, man. I love you too, brother. Man, it's good to see you. I ask Adel, and I'm not lying. I talk anytime you come up. I get all giddy and happy, don't I? I always do when I talk about you.
Yes, true.
So a big fan, Les. I'm a big fan.
Well, okay, so we are definitely serious about what we do, but we also have a lot of fun doing it. And we all have,
absolutely.
We all have that, the common denominator in Christ. But he has given us all these different styles of music and melodies and lyrics. I don't know how it happened, but the groups on Frontline were not just bringing the same stuff. There was a lot of diversity within that community. And even within the metal bands, we were all so unique in what we brought. And so, I mean, that's amazing that after all this time, we're going to come back together. And then Frontline is coming with this whole, all 80 podcasts, and it's all available worldwide all at once. So Frontline is definitely a part of this movement that's happening. And again, that's God bringing it right back. And thank you, Jesus.
All right. Les, love you, bud. Thank you so much, bud.
Bye, Jimmy. Bye.
All
Jimmy.
right.
Love you, bro.
Love you too, man.
All right. Adele.
What a great interview with Jimmy P. Brown of Deliverance.
So good.
I know. And so this was after his performance. There's part 1 and part 2 of the Immortal Christian Rock Festival. So that was that. And anybody who was there was blessed, I can tell. Yeah. I wanted, you are the perfect person to be talking about the Immortal Christian Rock Festival, because Bloodgood was really the founders of this kind of festival movement, right? So in February, what you told me is February 22, Bloodgood and White Cross were invited to the BMI Event Center to try out this rock festival, see if this thing was going to fly, right? So tell us about that. Who was there? How did that come about?
Well, actually, Steve Barhorst is the man who owns the BMI Event Center. And, it used to be a racetrack, go-kart racetrack, and in that building in there and everything. But he had this vision that he wanted to bring Christian acts in. And he sort of was raised around the time when, Bloodgood and White Cross and all those early Frontline bands were at Cornerstone and that sort of thing. He was kind of a fan at that time, and he had just met his wife, I guess. But anyway, he wanted to bring the gospel to what he does there at the BMI Center. So he had been wanting that for a while. So some years have gone by, and he had this vision. And then I guess, and I don't know who else was involved. I think Dorn Reppert was also sort of involved in the talking about it. And sure, Steve prayed about it a lot too. But I got this call from Michael Fian, and he wanted to introduce me to Steve Barhorst. And so I called Steve on the phone, and we began to talk about this vision. And so that's kind of how I stepped into it and got involved. And it was really great talking to Steve and hearing what he wanted to do eventually. So this was prior to when, before the show had started. So in the process, Michael Fian from White Cross and I from Bloodgood talked to our bands, and we started to talk about the whole possibility of this happening. And then we finally got the date, and we talked to Steve about, all the particulars and what it would take to make it happen. And then it evolved into, hey, possibly we could show the movie, The Trenches of Rock film, and then there could be the concert. And then Chris Jericho came up. I thought of Chris Jericho being the MC for this because he's a Christian metal fan from way back. Chris actually saw Bloodgood when he was 16 years old. And anyway, so it all came together. And it turns out that February show in 2022 was Bloodgood's last performance.
Right.
And most of you know that Michael has gone home to be with Jesus, but this particular weekend was, it was just amazing. It was like God had just swung open the doors, parted the seas, opened up the skies, and everything that we asked for was there. We had just lost Kevin a few months prior. So Michael Fian actually played drums with Bloodgood on that last concert. He did double duty that night. And we did a tribute to Kevin. We did Out of the Darkness. We started with the Frontline music video of Out of the Darkness from the live show with Kevin on the big screen. And as he did his drum roll, it went from that to us live, and we finished the song. It was brilliant. And so Kevin was with us there. I mean, everything was perfect in every way. And we had been interviewed by Chris Jericho before the show, after the movie. It was a great event. And everything was beyond what our wildest dreams could be. Michael and I thought, this is the beginning of a new beginning for Bloodgood, just based on what happened. So everything was wonderful, and everything went off really well, and people were so pleased. And the next day, Sunday, Michael and I went and spoke in the Ark Church. The pastor Ron Campbell there, who also was a Bloodgood fan, him and his wife Heather used to listen to us when they were dating way back in the day. This was just an amazing resurgence of what was going to happen with Bloodgood. And Michael and I spoke in the church that morning and shared our journey with everyone and spoke of our love for Jesus and our love for one another. We went out for lunch and with the pastor and his wife. And then Joyce and I flew home, and Michael and Marilyn were going to stay in Dayton, Ohio for a little extra week because they had friends there, and their son, Mark David, is nearby and all that. Anyway, we get home and I get the call from, I don't know, I guess it was David Safiro, or maybe it was Mark David. Yes, said that Michael had had a stroke. So I immediately got on a plane, or tried to get on a plane immediately and go back, but I couldn't get on a plane because it was too late. Ended up going the next day back to see Michael, but Michael was in a coma in the hospital. So that's what happened with that very first, and very first attempt at doing this Immortal Fest. So then when that happened, I believe that Steve was still determined to do, this vision that he had. And at that time, we didn't know that, we figured that Michael would be healed and be out of it and be ready to go. And I think it was several months later that there was going to be the first Immortal Fest. So we were counting that Michael would be a part of that. So anyway, we just kind of planned that Bloodgood would play it in some sort of context. And if Michael wasn't able to do it, that maybe I would do something or whatever. But anyway, all of that was in conversation. We didn't really know what was going to happen. As it turns out, Michael went home to see Jesus, and I ended up doing that first Immortal as Les Carlsen. And so now here we are at the second Immortal that is going to be coming up this September, 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah.
But again, when God has a vision, to do what he's going to do, nothing stops it. It just keeps going. And so there is something happening now in Versailles. And that is people that are coming to sort of pick up where we left off after Cornerstone in the early 80s when it first started. There seems to be a resurgence of another big wave, and God's using the old guys. Moses was old. He's using all of us older folks that started there in that beginning, and he's, now he's rolling it out again because his gospel is new and fresh and current, regardless of how we age, And so that's what's going on. I mean, Glenn Kaiser is going to be there. I mean, he originated Cornerstone, right? With the Res Band. Yeah. And I think Matthew Ward is going to be there. And of course, Sacred Warrior, White Cross, Fear Not. I don't want to leave anybody out, but I'm just saying Daniel that there's
Daniel Band.
Yes, Daniel Band. Oh my gosh. Those guys are great. I think Saint too.
Yes.
Ex-Spinner.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is going to be an amazing happening again. And these are a lot of folks that love Jesus who are going to get together and again, praise him, for who he is and touch those that don't know Jesus in a way that sort of just pulls them in, that just is magnetic. His charisma, his spirit is so magnetic. When people get a glimpse of the truth, they're attracted to the light, which is in Christ Jesus. So, yeah, we're all fired up about it.
Thank you for sharing that. I don't think any of us realized how much Bloodgood was foundational to this movement, as you say, this festival movement. It's exciting. We haven't had a festival for so long, and thank you for being part of that and for sharing that. That's a hard part of your journey. For sure. And when God uses it.
Yes. And Adele, when you say that, Michael talks about how God gave him a vision or a calling way back in the beginning before Frontline. And it's appropriate that Michael was there on the threshold of that calling. And he fulfilled his calling here. He went home good and faithful servant. It's what God does. He's so good. And so, yeah, we miss Michael, but the Lord was so gracious in the way that he allowed Michael to go to that, to be at that place. And, just before the tragedy of how things end here. But ultimately, Michael is more alive than we are with the King of Kings.
Yeah.
So now we're here and we're just moving forward to get as many souls into that kingdom that we can.
How about we close our show today with the song that Bloodgood closed their shows with all these years?
I think that would be beautiful. Michael wrote this song. It's called Never Be the Same.
I need to reaching out to you. I will never be the same.
So, yeah, that's what's going to happen September 2nd and 3rd in Versailles, Ohio, at the BMI Event Center.